lovelies, and happy Monday. I hope everyone had an amazing weekend. I do want to give you all a heads up. I am going to attempt to run a slideshow while I do this. So, everybody give me a lot of grace. But I am Terry True Crime, and welcome to Midday Missing, where we highlight current missing person cases that need more attention. Guys, we do shows every Monday and Wednesday at noon Central Time, unless Couch Court with Llama is live streaming a trial, then we will sometimes move it. And speaking of Couch Court with Llama, welcome to everybody that ported over from Couch Court with Llama. Guys, Chad Daybell is insane. Okay. And I hope that, I'm glad, misbehaving, that you didn't get motion sickness. I hope everybody remembered to tuck their arms in and hold on to their butts. Okay. Now, before we get into today's cases, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe because, guys, it is really important for Midday Missing. I mean, yes, it helps our channel to get the word out there about all of our shows, but for Midday Missing, it's really important so that that algorithm, God, math, whatever they call it, helps these individuals get the recognition that they deserve. Okay. So now we are going to get started on our case, and let's see how Terry can do here. Okay, guys, I did it. So today we're going to talk about Brittany. She was born on July 6th, 1997. She was 5 feet tall and about 150 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. Guys, I bet you she said she was like 5'1", just because 5 foot, but she had black hair, brown eyes. She was only 14 years old. And guys, on the day that she disappeared, she was wearing a pink floral shirt and blue denim shorts. Okay. It's all pink, like it. Guys, what you need to remember is that Brittany isn't just a missing person. She's not just a poster, okay? She's a daughter, a friend, and a child with her whole future in front of her. Also, think about she was a classmate, she was a student. Think of the trauma all of those kids have to deal with. Now, her mother, Tiana Hogue, remembers that the last thing Brittany said to her was simple and full of love. Love you, Mom. See you later. Those are the last words she ever heard from her daughter. Guys, this is another reason. Always remember to say goodbye, I love you, whatever it is before you leave or go, in the car, even if you're mad at somebody, because you just never know. You just never know. Now, it was the morning of June 14th, 2012, when Brittany's aunt dropped her off at her father's home on McCovery Road in Mobile, Alabama, around 9 a.m. Now, Brittany was working to establish a relationship with her father, and she had planned a 2-day visit. Now, her father, Demetric LeBaron Hooper, was the last person known to have seen her alive. Now, when Brittany didn't come home, her family reported her missing. Weeks passed with no sign of her. Okay. Guys, I have so many questions. Why did her dad not? I just have a lot of questions. Okay. Now, like I said, weeks passed with no sign of her. Then on July 9th, police found Hooper at a psychiatric hospital in Fort Smith, Arkansas, where he had checked himself in for treatment of schizophrenia. Now, Hooper has been hospitalized before for schizophrenia and for drug issues. So this was, not his first foray into that. Now, what investigators discovered was deeply, triply troubling. And guys, I have so many questions and I'm going to get emotional and I'm going to try not to cry. Hooper had Brittany's pink iPod with him, along with 2 knives and a rope. But guys, Brittany was still nowhere to be found. Now, her dad, Hooper, had a prior history of arrest for DV and for assaulting a police officer. Guys, guys, now in August 2014, Hooper pled guilty to custodial interference in Brittany's case. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but served just over 4 and was released in December 2016. Guys, okay, hold on. Are you ready? What the actual fuck? Custodial interference? She's missing. She's a child. Custodial interference is where you don't take the child home after a weekend visitation and you keep them for 4 or 5 extra days. Okay? It's not they're missing and haven't been seen, and then you only serve just 4 years out of your 10 years. Okay. Now, her family, the rest of her family, was left with nothing but wondering where she is. What is she asleep? Is she getting food? Is she being tortured? The silence is just awful. To make matters even more concerning, Brittany had severe asthma. She didn't take her medications with her when she left for that visit. Without her inhaler and prescriptions, guys, it's unlikely she could have survived long on her own. Okay, first question is, I have asthma. I don't go away for 2 days and not take my medication with me. This was a child. Somebody needs to make sure their kids take their stuff, okay? Now, for years, this case seemed stalled, okay? Then in February 2024, a Mobile County grand jury indicted Hooper for murder, even though Brittany's body had never been found. Okay, finally. Now, authorities stated publicly that they believe Brittany was deceased. Now, the case finally went to trial in June 2025. Now, prosecutors argued that Hooper killed Brittany after picking her up that morning, pointing to her missing medication, her abandoned belongings, and his troubling history. But the defense stressed that there was no body, no crime scene, and no direct evidence linking Hooper to her death. Guys, on June 9th of this year, the jury returned a verdict of not guilty. Okay. Guys, I get there's no body, there's no crime scene, but he had her pink iPod. He didn't report her missing. The rest of the family had to report her missing. That is just wrong. Now, for her family, guys, just imagine this was another devastating blow. Okay. 13 years of waiting and still no answers and still nothing, nothing. Okay. Now, guys, today Brittany would be 27 years old. And instead of celebrating her milestones, her family is left clinging to memories and to the hope that one day someone will come forward with the truth. Sadly, though, guys, her father can never be tried again. He's found not guilty. Now, they could try to get him for kidnapping or something if they get evidence, but the murder, because of double jeopardy, nothing can be done. Okay. Now, if you have any information about what happened to Brittany Shantae Robinson, please call the Mobile Police Department at 251 208 1700. Guys, maybe he took her across state lines. Maybe that's why he went to Arkansas, because if so, then that becomes a federal case. So I don't know if they could file additional charges besides murder, like taking her across state lines for nefarious reasons. I don't know. So even the smallest tip could help bring this family answers, because guys, they deserve it after this, okay? You can also help by sharing Brittany's story, keeping her name alive, and reminding others that she has not been forgotten. Use hashtags like hashtag justice for Brittany Robinson. We need to flood social media so that man can see it, okay? And others can come forward. Now, Brittany's story is tragic, and the justice system has not provided closure. But that doesn't mean this case is over. Someone out there knows what happened, and if she is deceased, where her remains are. And until the truth comes out, we all need to keep telling her story, okay? Because she deserves the justice. Now, guys, if you know of or have a loved one missing and are interested in having their story featured on an upcoming episode of Midday Missing, or if you're a family member and you want to join us for a live interview, you can contact us by emailing Amy at tcwtmedia.com or me at Terry at tcwtmedia.com, or you can send us a DM on our Facebook page or any of our socials. I agreed. I'm glad they at least tried to get a conviction. I am, but man, really? That's just heartbreaking. Just heartbreaking. Now, guys, on the afternoon of August 27th, 2024, just last year, 36-year-old Brandy Nicole McClellan Crouch. She got a long name, Brandy Nicole McClellan Crouch. She was last seen walking along U.S. Highway 331 near County Road 18 in Florala, Alabama. Now, witnesses reported she was barefoot, wearing a red sleeveless shirt and black shorts, and carrying a small backpack. Okay. Two dogs accompanied her on that walk, a white bulldog and a little small brown dog. Okay. It is reported that she got into an argument with her dad and stormed off. So, guys, I'm going to just tell you today, dad cases. Okay. There's no dad jokes today. Now, Brandy is 5'7". She weighs between 125, 130 pounds. She has a slender build. Now, family and friends said she had no vehicle at the time with her and did not appear to have a phone at the time. The sighting along the highway would be the last confirmed trace of her. Now, when Brandy did not return home or make contact, her family grew concerned. I mean, the Covington County Sheriff's Office quickly became involved, launching an investigation and issuing public appeals for information. But, guys, despite searches of the area and repeated calls to the community, no confirmed belongings were located. And the dogs that she was walking returned to Brandy's father's house a couple of days later, according to Project Cold Case. Now, her family, especially her stepmother, Julie, has spoken out, describing Brandy as someone who deserves compassion, empathy, and not to be forgotten. And she's urged the public to treat Brandy's case with humanity and to remember that she is loved and deeply missed. Now, news articles that I read did not say what Brandy's past was specifically, but guys, I agree. If you're new here, guess what? No matter what mistakes you've made, that should not make it any less important to find the person who's missing and find what happened to them. If they're not a serial killer or a pedo, they deserve to be found. Okay. And if they're a serial killer or pedo, they need to be found because they need to be in prison. Okay. Now, Brandy was said to have a lot of love for animals and had rescued everything from dogs to squirrels. Okay. She was even known to stop and help turtles cross the road safely. Guys, that is so me. And I love that about Brandy. That tells you that she has a good heart. Okay. Now, community members have organized awareness efforts online and off, sharing missing person posters, circulating her story, and urging anyone who may have seen something that day to come forward. Guys, a reward has also been offered for credible information. Guys, this shows how desperately her loved ones want answers. As of now, Brandy remains missing. Okay. Investigators stress that any detail, no matter how small, could help. Guys, even if it's a rumor, hearsay, you overheard it, you think you saw someone that looked like that, it doesn't matter. It could lead to answers. Okay. So we're not the police. We do not know what could help. Okay. So if you have information, you're asked to contact the Covington County Sheriff's Office at 334-428 2641 or Central Alabama Crime Stoppers at 334-215-7867. Guys, this is not just a case file, okay? It's the story of a daughter, a loved one, and a family and a community are still searching for answers. Someone knows what happened that day along Highway 331, and her family is still waiting for answers. Okay. Guys, that is very important that they get answers. Now, guys, I want to remind you all, please go and share the missing poster flyers for Brittany and Brandy that are posted on our Midday Missing Facebook page. Let's do our part. Get the word out there. Okay. We need to. Okay. We need to do that. Now, today I'm going to give you some interesting tips. They're not my normal tips. Okay. September is Disaster Preparedness Month. And as an active community responder, I wanted to share my top preparedness tips. Okay. Build your emergency kit, guys. You trust me, you will thank yourself. Okay. You need to have a gallon per person for 3 days. Okay. When I'm talking disasters, hurricane season, fires, flooding, freezes, tornadoes. I mean, you should have this at all times. We have a place in our home where we have this. Okay. You also want 3 days of non perishable food. So, growing up, because lived in Houston, we had to deal with hurricanes. We had hurricane food that we were only allowed to eat during hurricanes. So, Vienna sausage and beanie weenies in the can. Okay. Y'all are going to laugh, but anytime I see those items, I'm like, oh, that's hurricane food. Okay. Also, have flashlights and extra batteries. You also want to have first aid supplies, okay? Because believe it or not, in flooding, you can still cut your finger on something, do something, you still need it, okay? Also, make sure you have extra medication and essential documents. So for me, I have a week's worth of my critical medications in a bag in my go bag. I have copies of my birth certificate, social security card, driver's license, things that you will need to be able to get new ones. Okay. You also want to have a charged portable phone charger. Okay. A lot of people do not have home phones anymore. Okay. Another critical thing, you need to have a communication plan. What I mean by that, where will you meet your family? So, what if you are out at the mall? Okay. And there's an evacuation notice and you need to meet your family somewhere because they're going to be evacuating. You need to have a place to meet. Okay. You also need to designate an emergency contact of who will not be with you and doesn't live in the home. Think of someone outside of the area. So, like me, my son Jeffa is one of my emergency contacts because he lives in California. He's not going to be here, and it's someone that people can get in touch with. Also, guys, we're getting older. Okay. We are all used to having our phones in speed dial. I do not know everyone's phone numbers anymore. I used to be able to rattle them off, okay? But you need to have important phone numbers printed in case you lose your cell phone. Uh-oh, Lady in Gray learned after Hurricane Helene to pack a copy of your voter ID, whether it's your driver's license or a different state card from your state. That is good to know. Did not know that one. Um, Also, guys, keep a go bag in your car. Okay. Keep a go bag in your car. Okay. You need to have water, blankets, snacks, flashlight, and extra medication. Guys, I will never forget when my kids were young. I was a single mom. We lived in Sugar Land. We were driving down the road, and there was a tornado coming down the freeway towards us. I didn't have all this crap in my car. If something would have happened, me and my kids would have been SOL. Luckily, the tornado turned and followed the river and didn't keep going down the freeway, and we were fine. Okay. Also, guys, prepare for your pets. The amount of people who do not prepare for what to do. I have seen people who have to evacuate for fires and flooding, and they leave their pets behind. I try really hard not to judge, but prepare for your pets. Don't leave them there to die or to just don't do it, okay? Keep a bag ready with extra food, leashes, and medication. So we have a go bag for the dogs. Okay. Now, sadly, I do not have a go bag for the goats. But I can guarantee you this, they would be stuck in the car with us because they can eat grass anywhere. Lady in Gray, you need to know numbers in case you ever get arrested. Okay, Lady in Gray, my mom always told me, mom and daddy, that yeah, don't ever call me from jail. So, if you're gonna know those numbers, make sure it's somebody who will actually come and get you, because my parents would have been like, "Mm-mm, nope. Kathy, I'm with you. I will never leave my pets." Like I said, my goats would even get in the back of the car with me. Okay. Now, this next tip is gonna make probably most of you roll your eyes. Okay. Those that are in the chat, that are on the replay crew, go ahead and roll your eyes at me. Just go ahead. But trust me, this is important. Practice drills with your family. Practice, practice, practice. Guys, for our emergency response team, we practice monthly, quarterly, all of this stuff. You need to know because adrenaline kicks in. I was just listening to a podcast over the weekend about the flooding that happened in Montecito. And I have to tell you, people were not prepared. Motion to scream. I tell my kiddo I'm her first call if she gets arrested. Okay. That I think is awesome because I was raised not to. Now, my kids know I probably would come and get them. It would depend on what they did. It would depend on what they did. If they're Chad Daybell, no. I'd be like, "Who? I don't know you." And I would hang up. But guys, I do want to thank you all for joining me today. I know today was a little bit different. Okay, Kelly P, exactly. Make sure she don't talk to the cops. Exactly. Ask for an attorney. Okay, ask for an attorney. Just ask for an attorney. Now, guys, I want to thank you all for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again on Wednesday for our next episode of Midday Missing. Now, don't forget, you can follow us on all of the socials, okay? We are out there. You can find us under True Crime and Wine Time, Terry True Crime, Midday Missing. We are out there. For some reason, my computer just decided it doesn't like me. But also, I do want to ask you to join our Midday Missing Facebook group because that's where we post all of our missing person posters as well as share other posters. We share updates if someone's found. You're not going to get any of the insanity of our lives there. If you want our insanity, you're going to want to go over to our True Crime and Wine Time because believe it or not, I'm going to get video of llama and craziness, and we're going to start posting them there too. And also on my TikTok. Okay. Because we need to put guys, we are insane, okay? I am gonna start recording all of our calls that we have to do work because some of the most random stuff happens, okay? Now, remember, you can catch all of our shows on our YouTube channel. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that like button and subscribe. Now, if you're listening to this on the podcast apps, please rate us and leave a review because it helps us be found on the podcast apps. We release True Crime and Wine Time, the podcast, as well as Midday Missing on the podcast apps. So if you would do that, that would be so wonderful. Okay. It really helps us. Now, don't forget tonight, we have our launch party for merch and new membership. Okay. You're going to want to be there 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. And guys, on Thursday, we will have another episode of True Crime and Wine Time podcast. Guys, this week we are doing a deep dive into what we're calling a fungus among us. Sorry, the Leah got the mushroom burners. Okay, guys. I'm sorry. That title just makes me crack up. Okay. It just makes me crack up. But you can, I just see, I forgot to hit the button and show the things. But it's gonna be a good time. Now, because I need to do another shameless plug, guys, you're gonna wanna join us tonight, okay? There's some really good stuff. I think this is the first thing that we've been this excited about in a really long time because it's really cool. And guess what, guys? We have a brand new show, okay? Our new show, if it will let me, there it goes. TMI, Too Much Internet, will air every Friday night live at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Now, our first episode is this Friday, September 19th, for everybody, okay? And going forward, it will be the first Friday of each month will be for non-members, okay? The rest of the month is for members only. So, I had to get that straight in my head. Now, TMI is a show where our team of brave, chronically online hosts have curated the best weekly roundup of the strangest, funniest, and most confusing things happening on the internet. Guys, what I need to point out to you, do you see the male in the photo? Elbow Feet will be joining us this Friday. Guys, it is going to be our most unhinged show ever because of him not being in the chat. He's going to be with us. So it's going to be great. Now, I want to say thank you to everybody. And guys, until next time, please stay safe, stay aware. Let's share the missing person posters so that we can help these families bring their loved ones home. Okay, guys, bye.